to another episode of Target Audience. I am your host, Kyle B. Miller, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with the Associate Vice President of Digital Marketing at Eduvantis, Emily McMahon. Welcome to the show, Emily.
Thanks, Kyle. Glad to be here. Totally on accident. I say that sort of seriously and sort of as a joke, but I actually started my career riding horses professionally after college, and then took a wandering road to where I am now. Started riding horses, then fell in love with Chicago, moved to Chicago, and started my sort of professional career in political consulting. So I worked for a consulting firm, one of the only firms in the state that worked both sides of the aisle, and focused strongly on digital marketing there, mostly for municipalities, and doing all of their sort of outbound communications and things like that, which was looking back, a really great grounding in getting a feel for how to connect with different audiences and cater message to target and all of those pieces of marketing strategy. Then I made the shift into higher education, spent some time at a place called TCS Education System, which was really a lightning rod of learning for me. Did a lot of paid digital strategy there and SEO. Then shifted to a director role at Illinois State University, where I was the director of marketing and recruitment for the College of Nursing there. And that was a really awesome experience, just building a brand, getting to sort of see behind the wheels of higher education and get that enrollment management lens. And that eventually then led me to Eduvantis, where I started as the director of SEO, and then almost a year ago now moved into the AVP of Digital Marketing position. So helping universities connect with students and achieve their goals. It's a lot of fun. Obviously, the outcomes are different. So I think in every industry you start, in every marketing challenge, you start with what's the goal? What's the thing you're trying to drive towards? And in politics, that's often at the end of the day, votes, right? You're looking for support and votes. It's a similar game though, in that, both of those areas, and maybe this is marketing everywhere, the job is to sort of shift people's worldview a little bit on issues in politics. In higher education, it's really around perception of an institution, perception of value, affinity, and ultimately choice of that institution. So similar challenge, different tactics, different outcome. I'm sure everyone knows it's been a wild 2 years in marketing in the world in general. I think one of the things that we're thinking about a lot right now is just recently Google announced that they will be making privacy updates similar to the Apple privacy updates that hit last year, that ultimately, right, wiped 232 billion off of Facebook's market cap. And so I think looking forward, thinking especially about, paid digital strategy, how that's going to change that ecosystem, change the way that we think about how we're doing those things and striving towards our goals. I don't know that anyone has any real answers to that yet beyond, it really means that you have to go back to really sound advertising strategy and understanding your market, understanding your value proposition, and communicating that clearly to the public, to your audience. But that's what makes digital marketing fun. It's a bit of the wild, wild west, and that's what I love about it. As a person, as a consumer, I love it. I know that this is a challenge for obviously what I do for a living, but I really like it, and I think that it's a good challenge for all of us. When you can't draw a circle around a singular individual, it means you have to think more holistically about your marketing strategy, including the full funnel, which is what we should be doing anyways. I think reflecting back, the thing that is most important is understanding your strengths and weaknesses and putting yourself in a position to be successful. And so what I mean by that is, right, we all have strengths and weaknesses. I certainly have some, and I communicate really openly with my team about about those areas so that you can sort of build a team and build an environment where we can all sort of through synergy be most successful. I think the teams that are most successful are the ones where the sum of all of you is greater than the individual output of any one of you. And so that starts by really understanding what you're good at, what you're not, what you enjoy, what you don't, and making sure that the opportunities you grab onto feed those areas where you can be successful. So I have two answers for this one. I loved the Kia EV6 commercial from the Super Bowl with the robot dog. They're like really classic, just pulls on the heartstrings sort of analogy between the robot dog and the Kia. I liked that one a lot. I also think, and I don't know if you follow Slim Jim on Instagram, but anyone who doesn't should check them out. They have this like fascinating platform. It honestly, it feels like it's run by like a 12-year-old boy. It's the Long Boy Gang. They have 1.4 million followers on Insta, and it's just all memes. They're a meme page putting out hilarious content around Slim Jims, and people get so into it. So it's a really fascinating play. And I'm not going to lie, I started following them like 2 years ago because a fellow marketer pointed out that what they were doing was just so weird and awesome. And I've eaten more Slim Jims since then. So it's working, I guess. I don't know that I have anything I like or I particularly despise. One that is on my radar right now is the Quick Connect. So Eduvantis is fully remote. We're a fully virtual firm, which is super great. I'm in Denver right now, working from there for a couple of weeks. I got to ski a lot this winter, which is super fun coming from Illinois. But I think the sort of shift to the Zoom environment means that you can just pop in for a quick connect. Except for that, a quick connect is never actually quick, right? Which is something that we need to sort of solve as a world maybe right now when you have that sort of availability perception, it makes it really hard to block out chunks of your day to get things done. So I've been thinking about that one a lot lately. I don't know that there's a lingo that I really like. When I think about the things that I follow for inspiration, I follow a lot of female leaders and entrepreneurs. When I did my MBA back at Illinois State, my research focus was women in leadership and the challenges around perceptions of power and perceptions of knowledge and credibility and all of those things that women face in leadership positions. And those are different. You know, men have their own challenges, women have their own challenges. It's different. And so I follow a lot of female entrepreneurs and leaders across a variety of platforms. I read a lot in those realms. So I think that's where I find most of my inspiration. And then obviously friends and family. I like that piece of social media. When I think about distraction, I try not to do that. I am slowly trying to back up from social in my personal life, which is, you know, a line because obviously there's a piece of that that's part of what we do for a living and you've got to stay current. And so, but I think for distraction, I follow Instagram is like my preferred platform. So I follow two pages that I think are pretty hilarious. One is I am 30 AF, which is just lots of jokes and memes about being 30, being an older millennial and being, you know, in that 30s space, which I'm slowly obviously edging out of, but I still resonate with that content. The other one is Midwest versus everybody, which is I grew up in Wisconsin. And so again, similar funny type content that if you are from the Midwest, you'll probably relate to around Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, and Iowa, and the hilarious things that we all do and maybe didn't recognize we did until we left that area. That's a really difficult question. And And my honest answer is I probably would just laugh and say, "Oh, I'm in marketing," and leave it leave it there. Um, but I think if I was really trying to explain it, I think what we do is still the essence of what marketing is, right? We try to communicate the value of a thing to people who might not understand that value. And today there's a lot of different tools for doing that: social media, paid digital, search engine optimization. There's like all of the technical pieces of how we do that. But when you boil it down, that really still is the essence of what we do. We communicate value to a variety of stakeholders striving towards a goal. I mean, if we're honest, I would have been some sort of housewife or milkmaid type scenario. And I often think about that because I am so thankful that I was not in that era. I would have not done well. I'm decently opinionated and pretty outspoken sometimes, and that doesn't bode well for women in that era. So very thankful that the world has progressed since then. I also hate cleaning, so it would not have been a great time for me. I'm going to show my nerd cards here. I would want to work on the Enterprise from Star Trek. That's where I would that's where I would go if it was a fictional workplace. I'm a big music person in general. So I'll like start a playlist and then just beat that playlist forever. So I don't know that I have one song, but if I think about like music that pumps me up, I'm a big old school rap fan. So Tupac, Biggie, Dre, NWA, that's my like go-to if I need to get amped up playlist. Stay strong out there. It's a weird world right now. We'll get through it together.